respect and ladies with respect. And, you know, it is a private thing, a private decision that we made a while back. And I think we like to keep it private, but, you know, we're not afraid of what the decisions we made.
Is it hard, going to be hard, Kevin? Well, you're 21, right?
Of course, no one's above temptation. No one's above life in general. And so for us, we're just trying to do our best in every single day. And I think we've said this a lot, but we're just trying to make our mom proud.
And that's not all the Jonas Brothers tell Larry. They also talk about how on inauguration night they got to surprise two of their biggest fans, Sasha and Malia Obama.
You've been to the White House a lot.
Yeah.
What was that like, Kevin?
It was really cool. We actually got the opportunity to be there the first night that the family was in the house, and we got to be a surprise at the end of a scavenger hunt for the girls, teaching them about each room. And at the very last room, they walked in, and we were there playing with acoustic guitars and got to play a little show for them and a couple of their cousins and their friends that were there, and it was really, really neat.
These gays, they're trying to murder me.
What do I think of her?
Yes?
I don't think of her.
Read about that in the New York fucking Post.
Baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop. I don't know how the rest of the song goes.
Nor should we.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Go to the year 3000. I, again, can't do it. Don't know the words. I'm off key.
Not much has changed, but they live underwater. That's all I know.
They do actually live underwater.
That's pretty accurate. I mean, like I said, not climate change deniers. Can't say that about them. By the way,
we're going. Yeah,
I have a PSA I need to make on this podcast. Something I was going to say in the bonus episode, but wasn't able to make now.
Welcome to Eating for Free, the podcast recording live from the absolute edge of the internet. I am PSA recipient Joan Summers.
And I am local AMC hater Matthew Lawson. I just have something to say. I need to say quickly. I decided to finally...
You're going to use our professional platform
this is my...
to air a personal grievance.
You know the pipeline of like getting on Drag Race and then becoming a Karen and like adding like Southwest Airlines or something once you get an audience and you float and you get angry.
Who was it? Mother Raja?
Oh yeah, about the wine glass.
Wine glass, yeah. I mean, I guess that seems justified though. I wouldn't say that she was being a Karen. No, we're thinking of like Derek Barry being upset that like a Spirit Airlines stewardess didn't recognize her,
or like Pheromone like losing luggage or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No. And
Pheromone would lose luggage.
They're all justified, and so am I in what I'm about to say right now. So you and I have been together on many AMC excursions that have gone awry.
Okay, but what AMC?
AMC in Emeryville, California. Bay Street 16.
If you want to talk about an AMC that deserves to be firebombed,
blow it up. Inquisition now. Okay, so I decided to finally fucking see The Nun 2, which I have been dying to see. I've been too busy. Things have been happening. We have a dog.
Wait.
Whatever would have
Question.
you. Mm-hmm.
Question. I finally went to see The Nun 2.
It's been out for like a month.
Okay, I was gonna say, how long has The Nun 2
I don't know
been
why
out?
they released it in like September, August. I don't know.
It's been a single day. Matt's like, I finally got to see it.
If I don't get to see it the weekend of, I'm angry. No.
Okay. Talk about a movie that landed with a thud.
Okay, and let me tell you how much worse it could be. Imagine you're not only seeing The Nun 2, which is garbage. The first one's garbage, but I love garbage. This one is 40 minutes longer than it should be. And guess what really ruins the vibe? I have no problem with the movie being bad. I would have accepted it. My Audible would have made me have a good time regardless.
Yeah.
But the AMC in Bay Street needs to be shut down. One, every single time I've gone there recently, we have had drama. When we saw Megan, you couldn't go there. And thankfully you couldn't go because fights started literally in the theater among children. Actual fist fights, like throwing shit, fights. People were breaking in. It was
Why
drama.
wasn't I there? Was I at work?
You had some party or something else you had to go to. You had to come in with somebody else. And we got date switched. And thankfully you missed it because what a shit show. So I've always had bullshit happen there. This time I go, the theater is literally completely empty. We show up and buy our tickets in person with our
I've
movie
had
passes.
sex in that AMC, I think.
And you know what? That would be fine. That would be better than what I'm about to describe happens.
I was seeing...
What were
was I
you seeing? What year would this have been?
What's like a genre movie that came out in the last 6 years? Was it one of the? It wasn't one of the Fast and Furious because those are too big.
Those are too
like,
important for you to have sex
movies.
during.
I'll think of it.
So
I'll
listen.
think of it.
So
Keep
listen.
going.
We used our movie pass, so we had to go in person, buy our tickets because you can't buy ahead, and it's all reserved seating. Theater is 100% empty. We get in, we sit down. One, the lights were so dark in there that we had to use flashlights to find our seats. Whatever, that's fine.
Alita Battle Angel. Angel.
That makes so much sense. That makes so
yeah. Okay,
that checks. Okay. Anyway, we go in. Lights are we literally feel like we're boomers with our iPhones in like the restaurant. We're like, we can't see shit. What's going on? Whatever. The trailers start. They turn the lights on so bright we can't see the trailers, and we're like, okay. What the fuck is going on? I go out, tell an attendant, which I had to like run across the entire theater to find because there's nobody available and they all look like
not you
losing their mind.
Going to find an attendant.
I did because I was like, if these lights are on during the movie, I will end it here. And what happened was even worse. So the reason why the screen was so dark was not because the lights were too bright. Thankfully, lights turned off once the movie started. It's because the projector bulb is basically dead, and the actual light coming out of the projector is so dim that even when they turned the lights off, we could barely see what was happening. So the movie starts, and I'm like, I don't think
like
The
a spare
Nun
bulb.
2 is this dark, like this moody. But I'm like going in, like, who knows? Maybe it's just the edible. Maybe it's just the entry scene. Everything's dark nowadays. We are like 20 minutes in, and I'm just like, this movie is like 40% bright. This is at like 20% total brightness. Like, imagine your phone almost off on screen brightness.
Yeah. You have like 2% battery.
You can't see faces. You can't see what's in the background. You can't even tell who's talking in a scene. It is unbearable. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll just hold on and see what happens. And then the theater starts to get full. And it's literally all kids who are going and hopping between the movies, which, listen, love and light, I did that. We'd all done this as children, but I sat my ass down and watched the movie. These people start coming in, chit-chatting, dropping their phones.
Some of us get up and get a fucking job.
No,
some of us get up and fucking work.
These children need, like, intervention. They come in talking loudly, and we're just like, oh my fuck, are we really about to do this? But the thing is,
that's why you cannot go to that AMC. We're already like
100
teenager
in,
hotspot.
I know, and listen, I've been birds enough. The theater already had us so sunken in. We all didn't eat dinner, so we got there and we're like, oh fuck, we got to spend like $150 to eat like a hot dog and like shitty nachos. So we buy our food. The tickets were already like $18, whatever the fuck they were, and then we buy our food. It's already literally like 100 something for 4 people to go to this theater. We can't see the movie. There are children talking the whole time. Someone has that iPhone alert where their light flashes every time they get a text message, and it went off like
I would have ended it all.
I don't know why we didn't walk out. I don't know why we didn't leave, but I just had that like psychological commitment to finish the movie. And then the movie was like so terrible and not even scary. Granted, we couldn't see half of what was happening. So let's say I'll have to rewatch The Nun 2 at some point on a screen that actually possesses light capable of transmitting images to the brain, because my God, that was awful. So anyway, my PSA, fuck AMC, fuck the propaganda they put in front of that movie. Oh my God, the amount of ads you have to look at before the movie even starts. The projector bulbs aren't even working. They allow anyone in to do whatever they want. I'm sick of it. And then I was going to another theater, Regal Jack London in Oakland, and also where it was like daycare for people and they brought their kids there. I saw Scream 6, violent ass movie, and there were like more children in that theater than there were adults. I don't know where to go. The Grand Lake Theater is great, but they don't show most movies because it's so small. I'm in a crisis.
Okay, you got, I'm about to get some angry people, okay? And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine. You can all come for me, okay? One thing I will say is there are, like, where I am in Philadelphia, okay? There is one place that is in like up by Temple, and I would never go to a theater by Temple University because, again, college, right?
Cursed immediately.
And also Temple is like in North Philly. It's like, if you don't live over there, it's like you could take the subway, but I just don't feel like
It's
going
kind of like
that
Berkeley
far, right?
when you're in Oakland. You're like, it's, I don't know, the way, like, people there suck.
Yeah, Matt, it's like,
it's not the vibe.
Matt, going from where I am to North Philly is like going from like where you live to Emeryville.
And that's why
Like
I am now
in
sworn
terms
to
of like
never do
where
it
you're
again.
like I have no reason to go there. So then there's a Cinemark like maybe like a 10-minute walk from me, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's the Cinemark that all the Penn students go to.
No. Mm-mm.
And
No.
high school students go to.
Even worse.
Which is fine, but it's like it's literally in University City. Like it's it's like
absolutely
the
not.
University City theater. So your two choices are the AMC Broad Street, which is up by Temple, or the Cinemark University City, which is like again hell. So that leaves the PFC, which is the Philadelphia Film Center, which I've gone to actually to see movies. Pretty good there. But like if I want to see Fast 11, the
Fast
only
X
real place
Part 2.
Yeah, Fast X2. It's
FX2?
Final Fantasy X. Yeah. It's like Final Fantasy X2, but Fast X2. Actually, it's
Remastered
still
edition.
FFX2. Okay. Is literally my other personal hell, which is Center City, but specifically the AMC Dine-In 8 in Center City. Like
AMC Dine-In? They serve like...
it's where they
actually bring the food to you?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. But like to give you a like just a
psych evaluation.
yeah, evaluation of where this is, Matt. It's like going to the AMC IMAX by the above the Target.
Oh, the
in
Matreon
San
in
Francisco.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
going to
the
headquarters.
Metreon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like going to the Metreon where you're like, it's like a
fucking
thing.
production.
It's like
at
a
this
whole
point, that might be the
thing.
only theater I can go to in San Francisco,
Yeah.
and it's like $150 to go in. It feels
But I
like.
want to go see.
FX2.
The fucking no. I want to go see Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. I didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure it's...
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
I wanna
Also,
go see it, but it's
Dune
like-
Part 2 is finally coming back out. Like, I need to...
Did they up it?
Yeah, I know they like postponed it because of the strike, but I just saw a trailer before, The Nun, in beautiful 20% brightness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like they show some stuff at the Philadelphia Film Society, and I guess I could go there. I mean, they might be showing it. I know they're showing the Eras tour. It's just like smaller.
God. Did
It's
you hear
not
that
like
she,
a
like-
big theater. It's not like a big theater experience.
Did you hear
like,
that the entire Grove is like shut down because of the premiere of that movie?
Really?
Yeah, they like shut down that whole mall because of Taylor Swift's premiere. It's like causing a whole clusterfuck in LA.
Oh, they are
Must
showing.
suck.
They are showing Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay, but also I need to secure a place for the Beyonce film as well.
Don't even talk to me about it. Guys, this is a podcast about the Jonas Brothers. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back. Before we get into it, we have some merch on our site, eatingforfree.com.
Hello.
You can go to merch. We have some new fall drops, some 11 Light.
Eatingforfree.com/merch.
There you go.
specifically.
Yes. We have our 11 Light shirt. We have our
Nick Jonas still has diabetes
Diabetes,
shirt, which was the quote that he said when he got diagnosed with diabetes, specifically to diabeteshealth.com. And it is one of the my favorite things that anyone has ever said out loud. We said it here on the podcast last week, but I learned all these things in such a short period of time, and all of it was crazy.
So yes, girls, go to eatingforfree.com/merch and get some sweaters, get some shirts, all very high quality. It's we have some great partners that make our merch, and I love it. Every time I put on our merch, I'm like, this feels like official. Like it's higher quality than most of the clothes in my closet.
Yeah,
For like no reason, but I love it.
The Love and Light one specifically is my favorite because it's like a medieval lady with a decapitated guy's head and a sword, and it's Love and Light. Like someone
Evergreen.
was
It's an evergreen feeling.
I'm like, I'm like, you have to listen to this podcast. Love and Light.
Oh my
Okay, so guys, today we're going to be once again only covering a single year in the lives of the Jonas Brothers, and this is going to be a long episode because Matt wanted to talk about movie theaters for 10 minutes.
God. Now listen. You joined as well.
I did. Okay. And I have to say, people who lived in San Francisco will understand me. No greater pain in my entire life than moving far enough away that it was not necessarily easy to get to the movie theater in Daly City.
Oh,
you know the one.
Oh,
that's
God.
the best. I think that's an AMC too, right?
The one in like, is it the one in Stonestown?
No.
I don't think I've been to this theater at all. Now you're here mentioning more about movie theater. Blaming me for wasting
there
our time.
Is a no, it's the Century. It's the Cinemark Century Daly City 20.
Okay.
It's the one like by the Carvana car tower now.
Oh.
But it's literally like right off the highway. It's like you could walk to it from Daly City BART.
Oh,
but that is the best. That is the best theater in San Francisco because it's always
spend
empty.
The hour to go over there at this point.
Century Theater in San Francisco, in Daly City, it's just always empty. That's the best part about it, is it's always empty. And there's a Cold Stone next door. Ooh. And I don't know that for any particular reason. So we're only going to be covering a year in our lives of the Jonas Brothers once again. This is from the beginning of 2008. Actually, not even the beginning of 2008. This is like 10 months in 2008. There is so much that goes on. But specifically, this episode in particular is going to be about everyone's favorite topic with the Jonas Brothers, which was the birth of the purity ring narrative.
Yes.
So the purity ring thing is going to kind of become a staple of press about them after 2008. But 2008 is really where the narrative that they are purity ring obsessed, like chaste virginal youth are like fully, like it is like fully become entrenched in their just like popular mythology. Mm-hmm. It is something that I have kind of changed my opinion about slightly because, okay, when we think about the Jonas Brothers, and while I do this, can you pull up that listener letter that we got that you mentioned?
I have it right here, actually.
Perfect. So we, like, as people who talk about the Jonas Brothers, just like as a culture, I mean, we talk about a lot the purity ring stuff and the Disney stuff with the purity rings. And we're like, Disney was like pushing it down our throats. And like everyone was like, that's all they could say all the time is like the purity rings, the purity rings, the purity rings, the purity rings, etc. And what I found really interesting is, like most things, especially with Ariana Grande, it's the memory of something that defines the narrative about it, not necessarily what they were actually saying. And like what I found about this was like, oh, wait a minute. This was something that like a bunch of journalists got really obsessed with and then would just not drop at all. And it wasn't necessarily something that like the boys themselves were like
peddling like crazy.
Yeah, like they weren't necessarily like peddling it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they were like,
in a PR like stunt
talk
with
about
it.
us at all, you just need to mention that we're like virgins. Like, in fact, most of the time,
I think it becomes a problem,
like
right? After a while.
Yeah, it almost seems like they are almost uncomfortable with the fact that this keeps being brought up constantly. They're like, actually, this isn't good branding. This is actually maybe not helpful after a while. I just like was shocked by that because I was like, I just remembered it being like that was all they would talk about. But I'm like, wait, actually, I think it was just that journalists.
This is just like with Ariana Grande again, where you're going to see 100 different articles about all these diva moments, but it was like one photo shoot that people endlessly source and talk about incessantly. Dude, Matt, you have no idea. And I also have to say, just like last episode brought in Harvey Weinstein and the writer's strike, there is something that gets brought up in this episode, Matt, that I was like, I almost had to like pitch a feature about it today. Like,
Or
The
like
world
a
needs
news
to know.
blurb of like, y'all, we can't just let it happen that this is something only our podcast knows about. Like, this is breaking news. Like, no, Matt, I'm dead serious.
This is why
I think
y'all
we're
need to
gonna be
get this pod on the charts.
I think we're going to be the first people to talk about this.
Oh my God.
Okay. But
So, this listener
we will
letter?
actually read that listener letter at the end. I think we'll save it.
Okay. Okay. Sounds
So let's start again now instead with this LA Times article. The Jonas Brothers in Full Bloom from March 26, 2008. This isn't an interview with them. That we're going to jump back to the President Bush Easter egg roll thing that we mentioned in the last episode. And this from the LA Times, and the writer says, "Is it just me, or is everything coming up Jonas these days?" Once a niche teeny bopper act found on Radio Disney, the Jonas Brothers are currently crossing over from the kids' table and taking a seat alongside those financially viable enough to garner adult interest, thereby joining the ranks of the Olsen twins, Hilary Duff, Team High School Musical, and the ubiquitous Miley Cyrus. In case you missed it, last night the three wholesome teenage boys from New Jersey performed on ABC's hit reality show Dancing with the Stars, days after playing Monday's annual Easter egg roll at the White House. "How about those Jonas Brothers?" said President Bush, introducing the shaggy-haired boys with their skinny ties all akimbo.
Oh my God.
Earlier this year, they helped draw in the preteens with a cameo in the surprise box office juggernaut Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus Best of Both Worlds concert in 3D. And that's my favorite part about that, actually, is
The 3D.
it was in 3D. Like,
oh my God.
by
At
the
that
way,
time, that was kind
you
of a big
wanna-
deal, honestly.
you want to hear something just totally depressing?
Sure.
Do you know what the box office was for
this movie?
Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus Best of Both Worlds concert?
Oh God, what? Like the first
It had
weekend
like
box office or the total?
It was like a 3D concert. It received
It
an
must have been
overwhelming
expensive.
commercial response and grossed 70.6 million worldwide and set numerous records, including once being the highest grossing concert film of all time.
Jesus Christ, 70 million.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's almost 100 million in 2022 money.
I was about to say, yeah.
Which I guess is even more now.
Oh yeah, wait. Shit, put that back.
70
Throw
million.
through the calculator again.
2007 to 2023 calculator.
It's gonna be like triple.
102 million. Almost 103 million.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking money. That's like Marvel movie money.
It's crazy to think that we're now about to like probably just now break that record again with probably the Taylor Swift and Beyonce concert. It's taken
I can't even think about how much money that's gonna make.
15 years for people to push that again.
So something happens right around the time of the White House dinner. The White House Easter egg hunt. Miley Cyrus, we're going to actually save this for the Miley Cyrus series. But she has a photo of her cuddling with then boyfriend Thomas Sturgis that gets leaked online.
Yeah.
And it becomes a big scandal that like Miley Cyrus is looking like a slut and acting like a bitch, you know,
this.
like classic. And the Jonas Brothers actually step into the cycle because they were on tour with Miley Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe talks to Yo on E. Like I love these like 2000s E News segments.
Yo
on E.
Like the name of the segment is just Yo.
Joe says on a recent appearance of Yo, "We're good friends of hers. We've got her back and we love her to death. I think it's just the way you come out of it. As much as they say no one's perfect and everybody makes mistakes, I think it's the way you handle it and come out of it in the proper and respectful way. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody
knows what I'm talking about. Everybody has those days." Okay, so they also go to the White House dinner that same week that Miley's photos leak, and I just love Just Jared. Just Jared in the 2000s is like what, like in the series Foundation, when they're like, what is the importance of preserving like a water clock versus a sundial, you know, for the collapse of civilization.
I love that you're finally on Foundation.
I'm like, we need to put the entirety of the Just Jared archives into the capsule of human history. This is the copy from this.
It really could tell you everything you need to know.
OMJ, like, oh my God, oh
like,
my Jonas. OMJ. The Jonas Brothers look super sharp in tuxedos at the White House Correspondents Association's annual dinner in Washington, D.C. on Saturday evening. Now, this next thing, jail.
It's crazy how the Bush administration was like, hey, bestie. Like,
hey, bestie. No.
Listen, like, whatever you want,
about?
babe.
They're like virgin teenagers. Like, let's put them in everything. What's up with those Jonases? Okay. So this next thing, jail. Do you see this next headline? Jail. Jail. What? Kim Kardashian is going to prison. Okay.
I can't believe she's
Kim
involved in
Kardashian's. This is from May 12th, 2008. Kim Kardashian's dark secret. I have a Jonas Brother crush. Now, who do you think she's talking about?
I would hope it's Kevin's the oldest, right? At 20 at the time.
Kevin's the oldest.
I would hope it's about Kevin, but I don't think anyone has a crush on Kevin.
So, talking to people backstage at Kiss FM's Wango Tango concert, where the Jonas Brothers played to thousands of screaming fans, Kardashian said, quote, "We met the Jonas Brothers. Nick Jonas is so cute.
No.
I don't think Reggie will get mad because Nick is like 15. I really shouldn't say that he's cute. It's a little inappropriate, but they're adorable."
The fact that Kim is 27 at this time makes me feel like I'm 100 years old. I can't even like perceive of her being that age.
I also just
but like jail too.
Love the fact that like I was like Reggie, like because I was like
I know
Reggie, and then I was like, oh, I forgot she dated Reggie Bush. No, this People magazine article from September 28th, 2009. Can you please, God, look at Kim's face in this photo? I'm about to send it to you.
Okay, please.
Like, please look at Kim's face in that photo. Like, doesn't she look like Courtney there?
Oh my God. I mean,
that
this
was
is
back
like
when she still looked Armenian.
17 faces ago, right? Like,
yeah, this is when she still looked like her dad. I talk about a busy week for the Kardashian family. Just a day after sister Khloe tied the knot, just to date us here, with LA Lakers player Lamar Odom, big sister Kim Kardashian officially reconciled with her NFL running back beau Reggie Bush. God, can you imagine, like, just tied the knot with Lamar? Oh my God, Khloe. Like, it's so, you've
someone
got a
needs
big
to stop
storm.
her.
Like, you've got a big storm coming. Everyone in that story has big storms coming. But yeah, no, I include the Kim thing here and like the beginning couple of these things because like really the narrative about the Jonas Brothers I was finding in the 2008 especially as they like pierced to the mainstream, right? Because 2007 was all about them really building up that momentum to Camp Rock and keeping the momentum going from their interactions with Miley Cyrus. Is this like kind of lingering narrative of like, oh my God, like they're so cute, but they're growing up and like, can they do it? Can they be adults?
Yeah.
Right. And the whole time Nick is like 15. Like, this is one thing I want everyone to remember this whole fucking time. Nick Jonas is 15. He has been doing this since he was like 11.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of his brothers is 20. Like, just remember that. Nick is 15 years old. Okay. 15. Now, let's go to New York Times. A pop formula. The younger they are, the louder the screams. This is from May 19th, 2008. So I'm just going to read this really quick. On Saturday night, for approximately 2.5 hours in the middle of Zootopia 2008, several thousand young girls were held hostage at the Izod Center. They had come to scream for the Jonas Brothers, the preppy New Jersey sibling heartthrobs who opened the show, and for Miley Cyrus, the teen queen who closed it. There were 8 acts in between was a sort of cruel punishment. Conveniently, the youngest performers were also the ableist. The Jonas Brothers, who play instruments and sing as a full-service boy band, veered from loose-limbed rock to intense balladry. They were a model of precision. On Z100, the show's sponsor, singers like Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears, and Madonna share space with rock bands like Paramore and Flyleaf, R&B singers like Usher and Chris Brown, and rappers like Lil Wayne and Flo Rida. But the Zootopia lineup, and this is the interesting part here, was far less diverse. 5 acts featured the piano, although unless they were named Nick Jonas, they fared poorly. Ferris and Sarah Bareilles, both strong voices, were relegated to single songs on a side stage up near the cheap seats. The microphone cut out on the genial and ineffective pop soul singer Gavin DeGraw halfway through his first song, but the crowd responded with only faint murmurs of complaint. And One Republic, among the least dynamic bands to have ever appeared atop the pop charts, was weighed down by Ryan Tedder's shapeless, ethereal vocals. God, remember One Republic?
I genuinely forgot they existed.
Now, this is the part where I was like, oh, but I think it shows the way that Miley Cyrus and the Jonas Brothers, and this really is going to set up what we're talking about today, were being marketed by Disney and the kind of marketing that was happening in 2008. So remember, in the background of this whole thing is the election, right? This is Bush's like last year in office, right? This is the last gasps of the Republican Party under Bush as Obama comes literally like barreling down on the election in 2009, right? Like, or no, 2008 was the like this was like
this
was
is
it
the
his
year of the
inauguration?
election. Yeah, it would be next. It would start next year though.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I just wanted to make, so like he's like literally barreling down to the inauguration in 2009 and the election in November. So this whole year, right? And the last year that Disney was really marketing the Jonas Brothers was in a conservative Republican environment that was anti-union, as we saw them respond to the writer's strike.
Yep.
It was anti-sex, it was anti-abortion, anti-gay marriage. And the way that they were marketing stars like the Jonas Brothers, and the reason that the chastity rings kind of were even a cultural symbol was because of the culture of late Bush American era, right? We were reaching the climax of the Great Recession in the 2000s, and people were feeling fiscally conservative because of the way the news was presenting politics at the time. The Republican Party was trying to hold on to what Bush had barely kept together. You know, the war was then entering its seventh, eighth year of being in Iraq. I think seventh year, like seventh full year. And so, you know, it was like things were going pretty terribly, right? And so as we see in times of, I think, political crisis for parties, they double down, especially for the Republican Party, I mean, specifically, they double down on moral conservativeness. I mean, they double down on religious iconography. They double down on family values and like a return to tradition.
I was going to say, like, on the international stage, that's exactly what Bush is trying to do. Is here is America's like top artist, and they are these like celibate children.
Yeah, no, like the fact
who care
that
about
Bush
God
had,
first, you know.
Yeah, the fact that Bush had them at the White House events in the beginning of the year was because Bush was doing that as marketing. Like, they might not have known that that's what was happening to them. They were young enough that I don't think that they would have realized that. But like, we have seen the way Disney has bowed to pressure from conservative voices and has bowed to pressure from religious groups about anything, from the kinds of diversity in its movies to the kinds of like sexualities that stars are either allowed to express,
in this like
discuss.
very weird place of being like pandering to them, but also trying to be progressive and ultimately just disappointing everybody.
100%. Yeah, no, it's like you can't do all things perfectly. You eventually have to choose a side. But we really see them like craft the like perfect conservative America pop band that you can market to these as they would be described, I think, in 2008. I'm not saying that they are like, that I believe that this is the way to describe them, because we know that something like middle America is like purely a political construction, right?
Course.
Like middle America does not exist, but I'm just saying the like so-called middle American conservatives would be like, okay, spending X amount of money to take their kids to this concert, or X amount of money to buy this merch,
And
X amount of money to go to this
absolutely
movie.
Working. It was absolutely bringing in
It
lots of
100%
money.
worked. But I think also you start to see that the tides change for them kind of halfway through this campaign. And that conflict is really what fascinates me most. So this last paragraph here, really listen to what this New York Times article is saying. Most notably, save for two members of Danity Kane, whose brief set was kinetic and seemingly effortless. No Black performers were on the bill, though Blue Eyed Soul was very much present. Jesse McCartney grew up a teenage idol, but he has lately been aspiring to become a soul man. His recent songs have a skittery bounce, and he looked hungry performing them, opting for seduction over affirmation. And earlier they said on Z100 that it is rock bands and pop stars like Britney, Madonna, Paramore, etc., alongside like rap and R&B, that it was like a station that was like multi-genre. And so the fact that this was like a basically like almost exclusively white block of performers was interesting, considering the kinds of bands that usually are featured most prominently on that station. And it was the night when the Jonas Brothers and Miley were performing, right? Because again, also I think as we learned in Pop Music That Fucks, the way that Black artists are traditionally marketed by the public and their record labels, as well as politicians politicizing Black artists, is Black artists are usually, even if their music is not inherently sexual or political, are by just the way that our society is constructed deemed sexually political and or provocative acts.
Absolutely.
Even if they're just like the Jonas Brothers and they're singing about like a crush they have after school. You know what I mean?
They wouldn't even be allowed to get that far because
Black artists are not afforded celibacy and chasteness the way that people like the Jonas Brothers are.
No, and neither would a large industry like Disney and the people around them invest the money and time to market them to America because they don't believe they would return the investment.
Yeah. And as we said in the specifically about the trials that happened around rap music and the way rap music and just like Black artists were, you know, portrayed in the media, we already know the way that like figures like Disney and these like huge record labels played a part already. In that. 100%. So go back and listen to Pop Music That Fucks, by the way. Interesting tie in there. So this is an interview with CNN, and Matt, why don't you play the CNN and I will play the Jonas Brothers?
Sure.
This is Jonas Brothers Own the Summer. This is from June 18th, 2008. Why don't you start as that first CNN question?
So you play as a character in this movie, this disaffected rock star. How do you keep that from happening to yourself? You guys are all very successful.
Joe Jonas. I think it's cool because we do this and with each other and we are able to watch each other's backs. And when somebody says something stupid, we're like, psh, whatever. It's funny to play that role because it's not how we are in real life. I'm more the funny one in real life. And for me to be kind of serious and, you know, all suave is kind of funny. It was a fun challenge.
I mean,
they're talking about
Camp Rock,
by the way.
I mean, you are the oldest, right? You got to watch out for the other kids. Your brother's here.
Nick Jonas. Actually, I'm the youngest.
Oh, are you? I'm looking the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of the group.
So you've got to follow in their example. They've got to watch out for you.
Nick Jonas. You know, I think we kind of have our leadership roles in the band and we treat each other with respect, which is really important. And we're just having fun, so it's all good.
You guys obviously try to be a role model for other kids your age. How difficult is it to hold yourself up to that high standard and know that everyone is watching you and that some people are probably expecting you to fail?
We're just doing what we love to do, and we're trying to be the best guys we can be and make our mom proud.
Your dad's a minister, right?
Kevin. Yeah. Nick Jonas was. Joe was. Yeah. Nick. He's our full-time co-manager now.
To which CNN responds, right.
Kevin nervously laughs.
CNN, with that kind of influence, as you get older, do you still maintain your spiritual upbringing?
Nick Jonas, the faith is definitely part of everything we do and has been forever. Kevin, yeah.
CNN again. Now you're back in the grind, right? And you've got your TV series coming up. I mean, does it feel like you are back and surrounded and just overly busy?
Kevin, it's crazy right now because we are on a European tour with Avril Lavigne, and we flew in from Paris last night and did the Camp Rock premiere. And then we're here today and going to Milan tonight, actually. And then we start our Burning Up tour this summer. You know, Camp Rock premieres. And then, of course, we have a new album coming out in August and the TV show, a 3D movie, and a book. A lot is happening, but we're just really, really excited. Okay, let's go through that again. Let's count the things. Okay, can you count with me?
Sure.
Okay. So, European tour with Avril Lavigne, Camp Rock premiere in Paris,
Yep.
Milan, and then the Burning Up tour,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Camp Rock premiere in the States. Then they have a new album coming out. They have a TV show.
Uh-huh.
They have a
3D
3D movie and a book.
That's 9 things.
9 things this year. 9 separate projects.
As they are already on their 10th thing, which is this.
It's the beginning of June.
Like my head's spinning just thinking about it.
I know. And Nick is 15 years old. Aren't you getting Justin Bieber flashbacks?
I am, absolutely. I mean, I do want to say that, like, the more we've been talking about the Jonas Brothers, I do think there's, like, a very important ingredient in that it is 3 of them, and they probably do have each other to rely on. Like they said, we got each other's backs. I do think it, honestly, probably is why they've been able to stay relatively sane after everything they've gone through with Disney. I think if they were just a solo artist, it would have really gone off the rails quite quickly. Like if any one of them was like really on their own throughout all this and weren't the Jonas Brothers, I think it would have been a very different story.
And I wonder what kind of codependency that might bring and what we might see in the realm of codependency later on.
When we get to when they all start to go solo later, it's going to be very interesting, I think.
So, siblings more than band of brothers, Jonas Brothers turn disappointment into wild success. This is from the end of June, the 27th, in the Oklahoman, where they were performing in Oklahoma that month. This is an interview with them, and I just want to drill down on some key points here from this interview. It's a little bit of a rehash elsewhere in the interview, but there was a few things that stuck out to me here. So at the beginning of it, Kevin talks about the recent success that they've had and signing with Hollywood Records. It was an amazing opportunity. We got very lucky and we were really honored with how amazing our family is now at Hollywood Records. They believed in us and they let us make the record we definitely wanted to make. They let us be the Jonas Brothers. We're thrilled with this record. It's kind of a continuation of the Jonas Brothers, their second album. This record was definitely inspired by some of the music we look up to, like Prince and Elvis Costello, and a little piece of funk in some songs. So we were very thrilled for the audience to hear it. They also say on the music side, the band has become the youngest act ever to sign with concert promoter Live Nation, and the multi-million-dollar contract includes 140 shows worldwide over 2 years.
140
shows worldwide over 2 years. That means that's 70 shows a year, which means
I was
how
gonna
many
say,
shows
what's that
is
by
that
365? Like,
how many shows is that a
it's
month?
basically a show every 5 days. So basically,
show.
So more than once a week, really, for an entire 2 years straight. Oh my God.
I know, that's crazy.
It's
so they
so
say that they
terrifying.
are so busy that they have only slept in their own beds in their home for 3 weeks in the past 18 months.
Fuck.
Nick is 15.
Yeah, they're sleeping in the van. They're sleeping in the tour
They
van.
say that because of it, shooting Camp Rock and having to be in the same place for a while felt like a break. Felt like summer vacation.
Can you imagine filming a movie in the woods being like the most stable, environment you're used to?
So I just wanted to drill down on that. So this next thing is the DailyMail. And this is really where the purity ring thing at the end of the summer, as their new album cycle kicks off, they start going on tour and just a bunch of things start happening. They start to really get asked over and over again about the purity rings, because now the purity rings are everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And they've been seen with Taylor Swift. One of them allegedly has dated Miley Cyrus, Nick. And they just, are becoming visible enough that dating rumors are going to start just naturally springing up. And as they naturally spring up, even if obviously I'm not saying you should ask 15-year-olds who they're dating, the chastity stuff just really starts to come into play in a big, big way for their careers. So this is Daily Mail. Matt, why don't you read the first 6 paragraphs?
Sounds good. When asked about their influences, the band, who earned £6 million in the US last year, will reel off a list that includes Sham 69 and the Ramones. They are also fans of Switchfoot, a Christian punk rock band from California, and Los Angeles power pop quintet Rooney. And while some observers might find it bizarre that such a squeaky clean outfit will happily name-check the bands behind such anarchic punk classics as Borstal Breakout and Teenage Lobotomy, the Jonas Boys see nothing incongruous in their approach. Quote, "We see ourselves as a pop rock group," says guitarist Ken, the oldest of the trio at 20. "We don't do dance routines. We try to rock out. People classify us as a boy band because they see the reaction the girls get when we play live. But hey, that can't be a bad thing. On stage, we're all having a blast." All three boys also wear purity rings, signify a desire to stay celibate until they get married. However, possible...
By the way, so that amount of pounds was $7,387,000 in 2008, which means in today's money is $10,441,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
However, possibly realizing that virginity is not a huge selling point in Britain, Kevin is cagey when pushed on the issue.
Now listen to this.
Yeah, this is great. "The rings are a constant reminder to live a life with values," he says. "For me, it's a personal thing. I'm not going to comment on the way other people live their lives. That's up to them. Chastity is an interesting term. Wearing these rings is a private decision that we made. It's a constant reminder. You put a string around your finger to remember to wash your car or take your dog out for a walk." Even if they had time or desire to do so, it's doubtful whether the Jonas Brothers would have time to go off the rails. A typical day on their last US tour began with a recording session on their customized tour bus, followed by radio interviews, a sound check, the live performance, and then a journey through the night to the next town. We'll stop there for a second. So there's a few things that we should talk about in this. So all three of them wear the purity rings, and you see here how they clearly are uncomfortable talking about the purity rings, right? And I think a few things can be true. I think Disney probably, we will find out, had a huge influence in the fact that they were wearing those purity rings. Yeah, what they're kind of allowed to say or not say, possibly based off guidelines Disney provides. And I also think that the assumption that it was entirely Disney is probably a deflection. I think that it was probably also their parents too, right? Mm-hmm. Don't forget their dad was a pastor for their entire lives. Well, I keep thinking too that like, and owned a Christian music label. So like, right. I would just say that I don't necessarily believe that it was entirely Disney. I think in hindsight, it's really easy to say it was entirely Disney. And I would say that for people like Nick, I don't really think it matters necessarily if Disney or his parents had more say, because for the entire time they wore them, Nick was not even an adult. Nick was like younger than the age of 16. Yeah. Well, I also feel like they don't talk about their religion really at all. I mean, they mention faith, of course, and we know that's the background and it's in all the PR. Well, the PR that people are writing about them. And I think it's interesting because I can't really actually see Disney objectively pushing for Christianity or having them speak freely on it. You know what I mean? Like, while Disney panders to those audiences and likes to take advantage of that, they don't go out on the like, you know, outward facing side to say like, we believe in one God under, you know, and etc. And we learn really with Justin that like from another like very Christian standpoint. Exactly. Like Justin's Christianity does get phased out of his brand pretty quickly, you know, even though that was like core to it for his mom. Like that is not something that they lead with. Because unfortunately they're trying to get people because Baby is like, Baby's like the antithesis of what the Jonas Brothers were doing. Well, and also like the whole thing we talk about with like Hillsong and Justin Bieber and kind of those prosperity gospel is they're trying to use pop music to get people into Christianity. They're not using Christianity to get people into pop music. Yeah. You know, so they can't, the more they speak about it, the actual less appealing their production becomes. Yeah. So they also talk about how like they never have fun, basically. They only work and they spend all their free time working. They're like, yeah, we don't go out. We don't really do anything else but work. Like when we're done with work, we go to the studio and work. And it's really depressing. They also say, and again, this is the part where I think the purity ring, chastity ring, whatever you want to call it, comes up against the nature of being famous in general, right? Like
we could talk about conservative America all we want, but like that is always going to be fundamentally at odds with the way that the gossip and tabloid press has been set up in this country and the kinds of things audiences are expected to know about celebrities. And the writer says, and again, the Daily Mail is so disgusting. In keeping with the golden rules of being a boy band, the Jonas Brothers also insist all three of them are single. The group's youngest member, 16-year-old Nick, has been romantically linked to Disney starlets Miley Cyrus and Jordan Pruitt, but insists the girls are just friends. Quote, none of us have girlfriends, but would we want a girl we dated to be a fan? That says the mop-haired singer and guitarist. The band also insists they never argue. There really isn't any sibling rivalry, and says Joe, 18. We don't really fight at all. It's so funny for us when people say, I can't stand my brother. We fight all the time. We get along. We're like best friends. We like to hang out.
I cannot imagine that lasted very long. After 140 shows, someone's gonna have a breakdown.
Yeah, someone's gonna have a breakdown.
Understandably so.
Well, it makes these kinds of things I include because I'm just like, how much were the parents managing this?
I do wonder because they're really good at staying vague and staying so positive. I mean, people call them preppy.
So media trained.
People call them preppy and like squeaky for a reason, you know? Like we talked about in last episode, the amount of times they're just like, we just love having a good time. And they're like, what about the music writing process? They're like, it's just great. And we're like, details. What happened? Stories. Like,
no, this is the way that I think celebrity has changed fundamentally is like, when you went through the Disney system, it was like being sent to like a re-education camp. Like you got sent to the camps. Like you were like in the trenches of media training and how to talk to reporters, how to talk to media, how to sit, how to look in front of a camera, what to wear, how to dress, what to say, what not to say, the kinds of things you should always avoid, looking the reporter in the eye, not being rude, you know, being respectful, saying yes, thank you, please, you know, that kind of thing. How to sing even, like how to even give an interview at all. Like, yeah, this is the kind of thing that was like, before they even put you in front of cameras, they were not going to just send some lady out there, right? Or some kid who didn't know what to say. Like Nick Jonas came out the Disney womb being like, and don't forget, baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop. Like, you know, like what we were reading that interview last week where like all of a sudden he just brings up like, and don't forget Topps Confections, who is so good to us and we love them.
Yeah.
Like
find our baby bottle pop alongside any album in your local Walmart.
Also, I just have to say, kind of ironic that like one of the most famous diabetics at the time also like I know I'm not laughing about diabetes. It's just crazy. Ironic. Yeah. It's ironic. Okay. So as if they didn't have enough stuff going on, this like broke me. I cannot stop yawning. I'm so sorry, listeners. So the Jonas Brothers, I returned to Camp Rock. I'm getting this from September 5th or August 5th, 2008. So the Jonas Brothers tell EW that they're up for a Camp Rock sequel. Matt, what do they say about that?
We've been looking into scheduling when we can do that because we've been busy with touring, but we would love to. The success from the first one, we did not expect at all. And all the... Oh, wait. Sorry, the quote cuts off there.
It cuts off. Sorry.
Yeah,
they just say, and all the like reception has been so amazing. So Disney Channel's Camp Rock TV movie, by the way, did not reach really the kind of success that I think they were expecting of High School Musical. But it doesn't mean that it's not like really good for Disney anyways. It gets like 9 million viewers in its first week in June. And the Camp Rock album sold 707,000 units.
That's a lot. That like actually is a lot.
It is a lot. No. And Joe has a lead role in it. So it's like, you know, launching a new brand and it's less of an ensemble the way that I think High School Musical is an ensemble. And also like there is a novelty factor, right? Like I think you can compare it to like what happens to Disney at this time. I think you can compare it to like, how do I say this? Like Marvel, I think, for instance, where novelty wears off quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's happening right now
When
with
you have
all their
a
content.
huge success like Avengers or like High School Musical, from there on, after your first huge breakthrough bonanza of a thing, it's always going to be diminishing returns.
Yeah,
You're
you
never
ride the
going to get it
wave
as big.
as long as you possibly can, and then
Yeah,
you start
you
looking
ride
at
it.
new options.
You might be lucky to like crest once more, but it is never going to be the same, right? Like we've seen that time and time again, I think, on our show.
I mean, they're still doing
And so-
High School Musical, the show this year.
Yeah.
But that is like, at this point, really diminishing.
Also, some of the listeners did not get in one of the earlier episodes in the series that I was kind of making a joke about Olivia Rodrigo also being a product of Disney.
I didn't know at all that was her
No,
like,
I was being
origin.
purposely obtuse about it, but it didn't catch on. So
People were
yes,
commenting
Olivia
the
Rodrigo.
Olivia Rodrigo shade.
Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo shade. So anyways, we're going to be quick about this next one because I really like don't want to linger too long on Miley Cyrus here because she does play a big part in this episode, but I'm going to just brush through this. So this is from People, and this is from a People aggregation of 17 magazine, which doesn't have an online archive of this. So I'm getting this from People, but it's Miley coming out in August and admitting that actually her and Nick were in a relationship, I guess, as like much as they could have been when they were like 14 or 15. Why don't you read this
Whatever
for
the
me?
hell that means. After years of playing coy, Miley Cyrus finally speaks out about her ex-boyfriend, Nick Jonas. Quote, "We became boyfriend and girlfriend the day we met," Cyrus says from the September issue 17. "He was on a quest to meet me, and he was like, 'I think you're beautiful and I really like you.' And I was like, 'Oh my gosh, I love you so much.' The teen stars, now both 15, never went public with their relationship. Cyrus said they were just really good buds, though fans and reporters alike were onto them. Nick and I loved each other," Cyrus says now. "We still do, but we were in love with each other. For 2 years, he was basically my 24/7, but it was really hard to keep it from people. We were arguing a lot, and it really wasn't fun."
So can we just talk about they were 14? Like they're this is 14-year-olds.
I
like,
was gonna say,
love and light
I've
to
seen this,
everybody,
but like it's not
love
real.
and light to everybody. Like love and light to this People magazine writer, and also like 17 magazine. Like I get it. We did not need to know.
No.
We did not need to know. Like, and your parents.
This is a private matter.
Should be like Miley Cyrus's parents, Billy Ray, and those wannabe pastors that were raising the Jonas Brothers. Like, y'all should be put in prison for this. I'm sorry. Like,
It is gross.
This is the same thing we used to say about Millie Bobby Brown and the way that the media was like fixated
Yeah, like
on
who's
what
her
Millie Bobby
love
Brown was
interest when she
dating.
was like 15
Yeah.
years old?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm
what the
like,
fuck are we talking
you
about?
all are sick. Not once did I, as an adult, like, this is what I'm saying now. As an adult, I could not tell you who the 14-year-old stars are. Like, I could probably make some guesses because it is my job. But I'm saying, like, I don't keep up with them. I don't write about them really. I don't think about them too much. Unless one of them is like really breaking through as like a noteworthy way that we
Right.
should pay attention to. Like, we really try not to like center children, like current contemporary children, and like shady bitchy gossip.
Yeah, it's just foul.
So as an adult, the idea of like seeing an article about a 14-year-old's love interest and clicking on it and reading it, and let alone as a journalist aggregating it and publishing it, like, to me, I'm not trying to make any like kind of sex panic out of this, but it's just, to me, like, weird. Like,
Yeah, it's not like
when I would write about Millie Bobby Brown
Right.
for like the websites I wrote for, it was usually like, can we please stop talking about this? I'm not going to talk about it. You can't make me talk about it. I'm not going to link to the article that everyone's talking about. Like, why do you care who a 14-year-old is dating? It's weird. It's
because
weird.
it's like
it's
not
weird.
real. We all had like boyfriends, girlfriends at 14 that were like not real relationships, or just like weird things we did as children.
And it's weirder too, because this is being stage managed by adults.
exactly by like
there
multiple
were-
brands and teams.
Miley Cyrus, I know we all think that she's like some rogue renegade, but at 15 years old, she did not have power over her life in any way. And this 17 magazine reveal was being stage managed by marketing people and publicists and her agents and Disney and all the machine around her, which is what I'm really focusing on. Is like, this was like a production. The reveal of Nick and Miley is marketing. It's production work. Like, they're doing this because it's like, buy Miley's new album, buy Joe's new album. They're both talking about it. You get the Disney brand synergy, which is like classic, you know, cast romance or like showmances, as they call them, and like PR relationships, like the Sydney Sweeney episode we did. It's like, obviously this is like a tactic in Hollywood, as in like a studio environment. But like, when it's like 14-year-olds, I'm just like, don't you get the ick? Weren't you all sick doing this? Like, weren't you all like, this is weird? Why are you talking about this? I remember
almost those like spots they would do on Disney or on other like kind of teeny content at the time where they would like talk about this relationship, and you as a kid were like, wow, these like older people, I mean, saying if you're like a few years younger than them, like, wow, the old people in these crazy relationships. And then you're like, literally looking back at now, it's like completely comical. The only way I'd want to hear about your 14-year relationship is if you're now 28 talking about how stupid and weird it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only time I would be interested.
This is the part where I was like, okay, someone should be in jail for letting Miley talk like this. Like, not because I think Miley's wrong for this, but like, we did not need to know this. At first, I bawled for a month straight. I was just so sad. I just went with this weird funk, and I dyed my hair black. When we were dating, Nick wanted me to get highlights, and so I did that, and I got myself looking great. And then on the day we broke up, I was like, I want my hair black now. I don't want to look pretty. I want to look hardcore. I was rebelling against everything Nick wanted me to be. And then I was like, I've got to be myself now and just figure out who I really am.
Oh my God.
But also, I can't imagine like Nick being like weird and conservative and like very like evangelical, chaste virgin woman that he needed. And like being like, I can just imagine him being like, you must dye your hair back to blonde and wear pretty dresses, and like can you imagine? It's weird.
If he was saying
I'm not
it's
trying
because
to linger on it
his
for too long,
parents
but
made
I
him
am
feel
just
that
like,
way. That's like the only way to see it.
What I think the subtext to that is, being in the orbit of the Jonas Brothers meant her image also had to change. And when she was no longer dependent on marketing herself alongside the Jonas Brothers, she went back to being who she really is.
Exactly.
Is I think really the subtext there. And we'll get back to this, right? Because like we're gonna tell the other side of the story.
This makes me so excited for a Miley series because, oh my God, there's so much rich content around this time.
So this is the other thing. They are 15, okay? 15 and 16. Like, People Magazine is going to prison, okay? So, Selena Gomez and Nick Jonas share kiss stories. They are 15 years old, but the premise of this is crazier, okay? The teen stars haven't acknowledged a relationship, but in separate magazine articles, their stories of a first kiss date are strikingly similar. Matt, this People Magazine article is like cross-referencing what 15-year-olds are saying about their first kiss to be like, we got to triangulate whether or not they've touched each other. Like, it's weird. I'm finding it weird. It's weird behavior.
Very uncomfortable. Very bizarre.
Quote, while we were slow dancing, my first crush and I had our first kiss, Gomez 16 tells Twist magazine in its September issue. Quote, I said, I don't kiss on the first date. Then he said, well, I never really play by the rules.
Oh my God, the eye roll.
No, okay, it gets worse.
That induced.
Jonas, 15, told Girls Life magazine in its June-July issue, quote, on one date, the girl said to me, I don't kiss on the first date. So I said, I don't follow the rules. Ooh, it was so good.
This is like just so not real. Like, I believe everything could have happened and they said these words, but on their 140 shows they were doing, this was set up as a scheduled appointment that lasted 35 minutes.
100%.
I can like already see it, almost like a 30 Rock skit where they're like thrown into a room and are like, all right, do it. Let's go. All right, next gig. Let's go.
No, 100%. It was like a compatibility test by Disney. They're like, okay, can we get a
doing their like BuzzFeed test?
This is how it's gonna be. Wait, Matt, let's do role play. Okay, I'll be Disney's Nick Jonas people and you be Disney's Selena people, okay?
Okay. Boop, 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 boop.
Ring, 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 ring.
Yellow.
Hello, is this Selena's people?
Yes, it's Selena's people.
So, I've got this new talent here. I'm sure you've heard of them. Nick Jonas.
Oh,
and
love them. Adorable little boys.
The Miley Cyrus thing didn't really work out. You know, there's not a lot of chemistry there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I set up just like a first look for producers and the top brass to see if these two have any sort of thing going on between them?
Let me check my calendar. Mm-hmm. I think
we're looking
we have
for
time, I think.
someone sweet. You know, Miley has a little bit of an edge. I think Selena's like just right for that like goody two shoes kind of girl.
Mm-hmm. I think she'd be down to do it. Yeah, let me just yeah, we can make it work. When are you free?
Got it. So we are free between like Tuesday and Wednesday, but only between the hours of 12 and 12:15 and 9 and 9:15. And anytime other than that, it's not going to work.
Well, Selena is working about 18 hours that day, but I think we can move something around. Can we pencil it in?
Yeah, I think Nick is flexible. You know, he does eat sometimes. You know, we try and send him to school.
Oh, we
It's
have
not always
shakes. We
successful.
have bars. We'll figure
Okay,
that out.
cool. Yeah, sometimes we feed them like just energy bars, you know.
I know
something
sometimes they get a little
just get the
angry,
pep.
but we we'll throw them a little something.
But, you know, maybe if they're emotional, maybe the sparks will fly. You know, maybe we don't feed them and then we send them on the date.
Full disclosure, we're not going to tell her this is happening until the moment of. I assume you're doing the same.
I think it's best.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's best if we set it up. You know, we saw him watching Wizards of Waverly Place in the tour bus the other day. That's actually where our team got this idea. So, okay, great. I'll send you the invite and we'll go from there.
Sounds great.
Cool. Thank you.
I genuinely,
that's 100%
there's
how it
no
went.
way.
That's 100% how it went.
We actually just read a script for that.
Matt, we were channeling the other side. That was
because there's no way this date wasn't like 15 minutes long in a side room in some production studio of whoever was closest to the airport.
Yeah. So this is my other favorite part. Matt, can you click on this Daily Mail article for me? Just so you could see.
Mama, this headline.
Clean living Jonas Brothers. So this is the thing. The Daily listen. The Daily Mail they asked that one question about the purity rings and are like, they're really cagey with the answer. And they will not let it go. That from that point on, if you look at the Daily Mail articles after the purity rings come into the conversation, the Daily Mail's like, weird virgins, like chaste losers, clean living Joe Bros. Like they just are like reminding you. It's like when they used to talk about like, oh my God, what are we like? We used to love those Daily Mail articles where it would be like, oh, like Sophia Richie, and it'd be like the top knot queen, like you know, just like the weird things they fixate on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joan Brothers, Clean Living Joe Bros by Wholesome Disneyland Mansion.
What is a wholesome mansion?
It's not a Disneyland mansion.
No, it's not.
The headline's a little bit misleading.
Well, that's why it's Disneyland in quotes.
This is my favorite part. They wear virginity rings and are even squeakier than High School Musical.
Like purity rings, they wear virginity rings. They wear no sex having loser dweeb rings.
So it makes perfect sense that America's wholesome pop superstars have bought a Texas mansion that resembles a Disney castle.
I mean, to be fair,
the siblings, Kevin 20, Joe 19, and Nick 15, recently granted power of attorney to their mother to buy the 6-bedroom house in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb of Westlake for $1.5 million or pounds, which, if my conversion is right, is like
it's probably over 2 million.
4 million. No, it's like 4 million today.
Oh, today. Yeah.
And like today's money.
Girl, this house has like 47 roof lines. You know
what this looks like? This looks like Melissa. This looks like Melissa and Joe Gorga's house. I mean, yeah, Melissa and Joe Gorga's house before they remodeled it because of how ugly it was. But like the 47
where
roofs.
like no window is the same and like nothing is aligned actually properly.
There's like a window that's like shaped like a keyhole. You know, it's like just odd. It's a very odd house.
My favorite thing is when they have the like garage in front of another garage in front of the entrance, like behind the side room. It's like a lot of layers going on here.
Now, we have 2 more things before we get to the main event of the night, which
is
going to rock you. It's going to rock you, Matt.
Oh,
It didn't include it in the links. So.
Oh, okay.
Joe Jonas gets a motorcycle with Sidecar for his 19th birthday. This isn't nothing. It's nothing, but I just want to say I just love what he's told Radio Disney on-air personality Ernie D in a new interview to reveal the motorcycle. Quote, "I'm pumped."
Hello, fellow children.
No, I'm pumped. And the fun, I include that, Matt, literally because of his Botox commercials. I was like, am I going to have to explain the joke to you?
I hate you. Oh my God.
Now, MTV writes a article here that precedes the main event of the night. Can the Jonas Brothers break out of the teen pop bubble? So it's been an interesting summer for the Jonas Brothers, with a #1 album a little bit longer and several major projects in the works, including a TV show and a movie. They've successfully succeeded in causing a boy band hysteria that hasn't been seen since Justin Timberlake left NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys became men. With the VMAs coming up September 7th at 9 p.m., the three brothers, Nick, Joe, and Kevin, find themselves on the brink of mainstream success. They have 2 VMA nominations, including the big one, Video of the Year, and are set to perform to an audience whose demographic can skew older than their current fan base. Well, to the average adult, all their music may just seem like bubblegum, but when you really look at it, they've clearly grown. They've made the move from Disney only. They'll be playing the VMAs, which obviously has been an older age demo than Disney. So they're expanding from tweens to early teens, says Kabir Malhotra, a publicist at Girly Action Media and Marketing.
Oh my God, where are they now, actually?
They also have an instinctive ability to market themselves. Each of them has their own look that is pretty well defined, he continued. They're going to have long-term success because all 3 of them are vital to the band's popularity. Now, did you find anything about Girly Action Media?
They do have an Instagram that is, I think, still active. Yeah, they're still posting. Doesn't have a lot of attention, but 30 years in the biz, allegedly.
Girly Action. Enter site.
I'm trying to look at their current projects. Yes.
Okay, let's look at the campaigns.
They're naked ladies.
Okay, so it's. I was thinking it was like girly, like no, but it's like they've done campaigns for LCD Sound System, Morrissey, like Elliott Smith, like Shamir,
some people,
Sia, No Doubt.
Oh.
Stereolab, Gorillas, The White Stripes,
They're
Gorilla
out here.
Tango, Scissor Sisters, Donna Summer. I don't know what they would have
I'm pretty
done
sure these
for
are
Donna.
like one-off things they've probably done.
Yeah.
Not like sustained work.
Imogen Heap, Queen.
I mean, they have David Lynch on here.
Yeah, they've got David Lynch on there. Management. Oh, who do they manage? Oh, no one that we would know. Okay. But anyways, so they're like music industry people, longtime like music industry publicists, it looks like. So, okay, Matthew. Before I say anything, actually, no, I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
So, Jonas Brothers, pure talent. This is from September 10th, 2008. Russell Brand produced a similar ring on stage and held it aloft, claiming it had been given up by band member Nick, 15. Nick was a bit reluctant at first, but after a bit, he realized that it was for the best. And let me just tell you, it was a pleasant and enjoyable experience for him. And I wish the Jonas Brothers the best of luck because over the course of the evening, I want a collection of these bloody things, he said at the VMAs.
Oh my God.
Let me read that quote again to you in case you didn't really metabolize what Russell Brand is joking about there. Nick was a bit reluctant at first, but after a bit, he realized that it was for the best. And let me tell you, it was a pleasant and enjoyable experience for him. And I wish the Jonas Brothers the best of luck because over the course of the evening, I want a collection of these bloody things. He's making a joke about fucking a 15-year-old.
No, I legitimately was like, what exactly are you trying to say here, sir?
He's saying that he fucked Nick Jonas and made him take off his purity ring.
Or helping him have sex with them. Like, Russell Brand.
Just in case
How'd you get in here?
You are living under a rock. Russell Brand is under multiple,
I was gonna say.
and trigger warning here, multiple investigations for multiple criminal inquiries.
These are pretty
specifically
recent, but they've been happening
over
for
harassment, rape, sexual assault, and abuse of women. One of the people that he is allegedly accused of having assaulted was 16 at the time of the assault, and he was 31.
Oh, God.
So it gets worse. He continues joking about this throughout the rest of the night and is like making sex jokes about them, and
He's so
is
awful.
basically kind of like saying he's going to like de-virginize the Jonas Brothers, and he's going to, yada, yada, going to make it hard for them to be virgins. And like, we should laugh at them, just like grilling them over this while they're sitting in the front row of the VMAs. It's in hindsight, knowing what we know about Brand, but even at the time, it's like really uncomfortable because again, Nick's 15, right?
Yeah.
Joe just turned 18.
I doubt
it's not
anything
like
actually happened between them, obviously, but like the casualness of a joke like that is just disgusting.
Matt, the joke gets worse. So to lighten it just a little, Jordan Sparks. Do you remember Jordan Sparks?
Yes.
Jordan Sparks gets on stage with John Legend.
Oh my God.
And is presenting an award and says, and by the way, it's not bad to wear a promise ring because not everybody, guy or girl, wants to be a slut. Anyways. And I was like, we are in a different time. Like, it's not bad to wear a promise ring because not everybody, guy or girl, wants to be a slut. And she says
time and place.
Slut, like she says slut with her whole chest. I was like,
the producers are like, can we tame it down a little?
No. Matt,
We
can
do
you
not
imagine if
need
somebody
this
said,
heat.
can you imagine if somebody said something like that at today's
You
VMAs?
legitimately could not say this. They would like snipe
no,
you off.
you
the
can't even
stage.
say what Brand said. No.
Oh, definitely not
Okay.
what he said.
So guys, like at the time, I think people knew about Brand, but like just picture this is 2008, but also knowing what we know now about the like multiple extremely credible allegations against him, including from at the time underage girls, as well as the criminal inquiries into his conduct that he has obviously denied. He has said that these are merely fabrications, which Matt and I obviously believe the victims here.
Of course.
But I just want to like warn everyone, like skip ahead like a minute if you are going to be sick to your stomach by what he says next about the Jonas Brothers and specifically underage girls at the VMAs on live TV. You can skip here. I don't want to piss off. So he comes back and he apologizes because he says the producers have asked him to apologize.
They're like,
and
sir,
he says,
get your shit together.
Matt,
I know. I
I
read
don't
this
want to
already.
piss off teenage fans, all right? In fact, quite the opposite. By opposite, I don't mean I want to piss on teenage fans. Let me be clear. I don't want to piss on teenage fans. I know there's been trouble with that in the past in this country. It's not my style at all.
This is where like the British like, oh, in this country,
Matt, but also
I know what he's
Matt,
This is
time is
so
a flat fucking
disgusting.
circle. Time is a flat fucking circle. Like the fact that like this is all happening with Brand, and then we go back into the archives and literally he was like literally there he is in our Jonas Brothers series making full jokes about having sex with teenagers and
then bringing up R.
pissing on
Kelly
teenage
shit.
girls. Jail. Like there's no.
I actually can't believe he got away with this. Like you really couldn't do it today. Like
And
really
this is the
couldn't.
crazy part about Russell Brand to me always was like the idea that he was funny. I'm like going
Oh, I
back.
never
I'm like,
understood.
where was the humor?
Where were the
like
jokes?
I watched, unfortunately, all of his set from the VMAs because I was like trying to understand the context to that quote, right? And there's like no footage of it. that
They've
night.
completely
the only
wiped it,
thing I
right?
could find is like archived TMZ footage of that quote, but like nobody was gonna dare quote the rest of this. Like the stuff about pissing on teenage girls, I had to find that from the actual video stream of the VMAs because literally nobody wrote about it. Like it completely went under the radar.
That's wild.
All anyone could talk about
Was it
was
televised?
being mean to Nick Jonas.
I mean, it must have been televised.
No, it was televised, but
Yeah.
all they could focus on was that he was being mean about the purity rings. They didn't even mention the part where he allegedly says that he had sex with Nick.
What's that
to get
what's
the
that,
ring?
What's that joke about like watching?
Because
old-
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I knowing what Russell Brand is like, there's really no other way to interpret it. And let me just tell you, it was a pleasant and enjoyable experience for him.
No, it's disgusting.
There was only one way to
Like,
interpret that.
I get it.
No one wrote about that.
It's like we know it's a joke, but again, it's a 15-year-old, and it's also like not funny anyway. Like it's never,
it's not funny.
Never
And
fucking
people
funny.
rightfully were upset about this. Like the collectively, people were like, "That was not cool." So they respond to this a few days later, and this is the part where I'm like, literally, like. Joe and Kevin are beyond saving. More than anything, I just want to airlift Nick out of the history books. Like I want to go back in time and like paratrooper in to Wyckoff, New Jersey,
Break
and
this
run
up.
away with Nick Jonas and like raise him on a farm. Like this is the part where I'm like I wish I could go back. Right? Like this is my sliding doors. Is like
Exactly.
who Nick Jonas could have been if he had never been involved with the Jonas Brothers. So Nick 15 says, quote, "For us, it's cool that he recognizes we are gentlemen." Kevin says,
God.
"I think he focused on certain things and didn't move off of them. People's attention spans in America need more than that." He also said, Nick says, quote, "I think he did a good job. We saw him on Conan O'Brien and I thought he was hilarious."
Oh, Lord mercy.
Nick.
Lord
Nick.
fucking mercy.
The boys didn't let Brand's comments spoil their night. Quote, "We had a lot of friends there and everybody's so nice. We had a good time."
This is like the same reaction to literally any interview they've ever had.
Yeah. So
It was great.
The Daily Mail comes back and they're just like relentless with this. "No sex, no drugs, just rock and roll. Are the Jonas Brothers the world's cleanest cut band?" That's again from the like aftermath of Brand. Like, of course, the Daily Mail would be like siding with Russell Brand. Again, here comes TMZ again with the purity rings. So like after the Russell Brand stuff, the purity rings, it's like incessant, Matt. There is like in the archives,
Because
and
we're
I only
obsessed
included a
with
few
sex
of them.
and also obsessed
Matt.
with the absence of sex.
Matt, between the end of the VMAs and the end of September, there's like 200 articles about purity rings. Okay. And I had to skim through them to see like what was just aggregation and like a retelling.
Yeah,
and,
everyone's
like,
just reposting the same shit.
the Daily Mail like redid their interview that we read with the Jonas Brothers and then like reinserts the purity ring thing again in the headline as if it's new information, but it's just like a retelling of an older interview that they had done. Because again,
Classic.
they're just like everyone's
Content
trying
mill.
to get the purity
Yeah.
ring SEO. Jonas Brothers, Lord of the Purity Rings, TMZ. Russell
mean? Like-
Russell Brand be damned. America's favorite evangelical Christian dandy boy band, Virgins, the Jonas Brothers, showed off their sexual abstinence bling in London on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like really thinking about it, when has there ever been like a group of, and I hate to say like men because they're like freshly 18 and 20 and 15 at the time, that actually are like publicly abstaining from sex or sexual imagery at this level, like especially being a punk, well not punk, but rock band. Like really, it's never really happened before at this level.
No.
So I can, the obsession with at the time is very fitting, especially knowing 2007, 2008 is when like we couldn't stop sexualizing, you know, every single artist that walked through.
Yeah. 100%.
Anyway, yeah, it's just like dazzling to me.
And September, unrelated to the Brand stuff, although it does get brought up here, they interview The Independent on September 15th, interviews Anne Sweeney, who's the co-chair of Disney Media Networks and the president of Disney ABC Television Group. And it's fascinating. Like this is the kind of shit.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit where we're like obsessed with this. Because this is like nitty gritty industry shit.
I've been thinking about this the whole time because this like completely frames why we're here today. Also, by the way, Anne Sweeney, just like current check. She's currently on the board of directors of Netflix, Lego, and the board of trustees at the Mayo Clinic and the J.P. Getty Trust. She might be like more influential than God.
Yeah. So, before Brand insulted on live TV the Disney-backed pop star Jonas Brothers, few childless adults in the UK knew who they were. But Brand's pretend plucking of youngest Joe Bros Nick's virginity has catapulted the Jonas Brothers and their Disney-made film Camp Rock straight into the UK news agenda. You can't buy publicity like that. But if Sweeney is pleased, she is being discreet about it. And I'm getting this all directly from The Independent. Quote, I think you summed up Russell Brand's performance pretty well. She says, that morning we meet. That morning, I had said in an article that Brand went down with the audience about as well as a cold cup of sick. But I don't think it was a British thing, she continues, with magnificent diplomacy of an American multi-million-dollar media network president. I just don't think he had enough material.
I mean,
the Disney Channel has made more than 80 original for TV movies, but is only really the High School Musical series and now Camp Rock that have become global brands in their own right. How did it happen? We turned the strategy round so that the movies were really relevant to kids' lives and touched on themes that were important to them. In particular, we honed in on the 9 to 14-year-old audience, an age group who have largely been forgotten by every television outlet. These kids told us in focus groups that they were too old for Nickelodeon, but they were too young for MTV. They had nowhere to go. This is a group who are in middle school, and their problems are quite specific. They were there to change class for the first time, as well as becoming adolescent and starting to ask themselves, who the heck am I? We went straight for those issues, and the result was High School Musical, which became the seminal movie from the Disney Channel. It really spoke about all of those issues. It is an inspirational and totally relevant. Although, okay, I admit, I don't know who anyone who breaks into song as they're walking down a hall. There is nothing dark in the High School Musical series whatsoever. The Independent continues. Everyone is good looking and well dressed, and it would be ludicrous if it was aimed at an older audience. My 19-year-old sister calls it beyond lame. But the 9 to 14-year-old age group can't get enough of the jolly sing-along and non-threatening principal boy, Zac Efron, and the wholesome principal girl, Vanessa Hudgens. Quote, this is from Sweeney now. A brand like Disney really boils down to the relationship you have with your customer. People grow up with Disney. The brand isn't just for fun. It's inspirational and aspirational. And we're constantly keeping that relationship with our customers fresh and fun. And that's why we're different from all the other media outlets out there. And that's really true if you look at the Jonas Brothers.
Absolutely true.
Growing up with the Jonas Brothers, you have a Jonas for every age demo that you're trying to market them to. And it's inspirational and aspirational, right? It's inspirational because it's like, we're just some brothers from Wyckoff, New Jersey, and you and your brothers could be famous too. But aspirational, and also that like, we too want to be like the Jonas Brothers. We want to dress like them. We want to wear what they wear. We want to buy what they buy. We want to buy their deals, and we want to go to their concerts, and we want to look like the Jonas Brothers, date the Jonas Brothers, etc. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like really like a multifaceted approach, right? You incentivize boys to look like them because it's cool, and also girls like it. And then you incentivize girls to go after people who look like that, and also buy the merch, read the interviews, you know, go to the stores, pop-ups, see them in concerts,
again,
etc.
They launched with like 17 projects under their belt, like within a year's time. Like, and I feel like the more we do the series,
immediately of like within 6 months of signing with Hollywood Records, they signed the largest Live Nation concert deal at that time.
And also,
for people
I
their
really
age.
feel the more we talk about this, and I feel like the Miley Cyrus would really complete the circle, the more I feel like the brainwashing was so good, because at the time, you know, people around our age, people who were in their like late 20s, we truly were kind of presented as these are world famous people that are important. Not we just signed them about 6 months ago, and you need to buy the millions of dollars of products that we're trying to push on you
No,
right now.
100%. It's a successful way to do it because kids aren't media savvy enough to know that they're being marketed
to. The parents
to.
are like, I don't know who these kids are. Maybe they are famous. And everyone kind of just mutually agrees that, like, I guess this is it. And also, the music is good.
This is the social contract that...
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
You first.
I was going to say the music is good. Like, that's the thing with High School Musical, too. Even though it's kind of like hot garbage in many ways, like, it's still boppy, it's still fun. And that's kind of all you need to sell anything. It's just a catchy hook. You were going to say that?
No, that's too. And also what I was going to say is, like, one thing that I find very fascinating about Disney, and we talk about all the time, is that, like, Disney has entered us all, whether we like it or not. And really, this is like any multimedia company. And it is a conscious choice to opt out of this, right? Like, this is something that you actually have to willingly opt out of. The social contract of Disney is that you just accept this, that you accept that, like, Marvel has to be the biggest movie in the world. You accept that the Jonas Brothers are the most famous people on the planet.
Yep.
You accept that every single part of your life is going to be at the whims of these multinational corporations that can quite literally shape reality around you and the world around you, shape history, shape politics, shape laws, shape local infrastructure, like in Florida. Like, that is the social contract that Disney enters everyone into against our wills. And again, it's a conscious choice to say no to it. It's a conscious choice to say, like, actually, I don't want to participate, right? And again, part of it is also being kind of compelled to believe that people who don't see it that way with you are the outliers, are like, there's something wrong with you. You clearly don't get it, you know?
Oh, I mean,
and that's common marketing
very
in
real.
music anyways, and in fashion, but like, it's so omnipresent in Disney. So The Independent continues, the TV promotes the album sales, and the album sales promote the TV movie, and later the TV series. That's not to mention the manufacturing systems already in place to produce a full range of merchandise and the global chain of Disney stores in which to sell it. Few can compete with that kind of infrastructure combined with the longevity of the brand, and that is just perhaps why Forbes ranked Sweeney as the 15th most powerful person in the world. Not just in TV or the media, but the world. She sits 31 places above the Queen of England.
No, when I say those people in the boardroom at Disney, like, completely changed the world. Like, no, and we talked about this with JoJo Siwa and all these other brands, like, and same with Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. You walk into Target as a child and you see their faces and their content around you everywhere in the toy aisle, in the merch aisle. And it's something that literally hundreds of
Candy
millions of
aisle,
Americans.
clothing aisles.
Yeah. And then the commercials.
TV aisles.
And then the news spots. It's like, it's literally an all encompassing thing. Like you said, difficult
at the
to opt
checkout
out
stand,
of.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
What is, again, we always say about JoJo Siwa, anything you can buy in Target, it has my face on it.
Exactly.
So the Independent also says, so Sweeney says, quote, if any of us knew the recipe for a hit, we'd be geniuses. But it really boils down to the storytelling and the character, and those are the two primary things we look at. Disney also says that it has coped with the recent writer's strike, but does say it has been devastating. Quote, we stayed with our series for as long as we could. We went into repeats. We put on reality shows.
I was gonna say,
Does this sound
familiar?
That we had already planned to put out in the spring and summer and toughed it out. Did you know one of those reality shows that they used to keep the momentum going was a Jonas Brothers reality show? That are like 6 minutes long each episode, but like that was one of the things that they would play. Get the cameras in,
like, might as well.
And then the strike was over. Everyone went back into the writing rooms and started again. I think that the relationship between the writers and the talent, while it was distant for a while because people weren't talking, is fine now. I do feel with us that everything is happiest when everyone is back at work, and I don't think any of the relationships were harmed. No one enjoyed the strike. It was devastating to our city and our country. The loss of jobs and income to all the below-the-line people was acutely felt. And doesn't that sound fucking familiar of what Disney is also saying right now in this very moment?
I hate it.
Now,
I hate it so much.
Perhaps now this is the part, Matthew.
Oh,
I'm going to let you read.
When I did a pre-read, this shook me to the core.
Go for it.
Perhaps Sweeney's greatest strength is her attitude towards technology. It was she whom Steve Jobs from Apple rang to give her a preview of the video iPod with a view to providing downloads of shows like Lost and Grey's Anatomy from iTunes to iPods. It was hugely groundbreaking, she says. It was a shock to the industry, and it caused us to think very quickly about what could happen with digital. I am lucky that, because of my 2 children, I've seen firsthand this digital revolution. My daughter Rosemary just went off to university on the East Coast, and I was helping her pack up and ship boxes across the country, and we were deciding what to ship and what to buy her over there. And I said, I'll buy you a TV when we get there. And she says, I don't need a TV. And then I said in response, you're having a TV if I have to nail it to the wall. And she said, Mom, if I want news or TV shows, I just go online. It was such an interesting moment. Ooh, I remember actually like begging for a video iPod for, like so badly, like the second or third one they made, and then like getting High School Musical. It costs like probably $20 to
I
put
used
that
to
movie
buy
on there.
because I had a bank account in high school the whole time I was in high school because I made my own
you were
money.
working
I had
part-time.
jobs. I was working since I was like 14.
Yeah.
So I always had a bank account and I always had my own money. So I used my debit card, which was my own money. I could do whatever I wanted with it. I used it to subscribe to each season of Drag Race. That's actually how I started watching Drag Race.
Oh my God.
Was
that
on
is
iTunes.
Iconic. I love that.
Yeah.
It was me buying Ugly Betty episodes, and I think probably Hannah Montana as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was Drag Race like wasn't immediately available, but like I would watch it on Logo, and then as soon as it became available on iTunes, I would buy the whole
To think
seasons
that
on
was
iTunes.
all happening
and
at the
I think
same
I
time.
still have Drag Race's season like 1 through 7 on iTunes.
That's actually pretty impressive because it's hard to find otherwise.
They are hard to find,
especially
So,
Untucked.
We're not going to read this, but we're going to end with something I find very pivotal in this story. And it is a 35-second breakup phone call from one Joe Jonas to Taylor Swift. And that happens November 5th, 2008. Taylor Swift talks and sings about her split with Joe Jonas. And we're going to leave that as the preview of what's coming next week on Jonas Brothers Chastity Crusade Part 5.
Oh my God.
Wow, we're in the trenches now. Things are going to move a little bit quicker now because the momentum, like we said, we have really hit the peak of the Jonas Brothers. And we can start kind of pedaling a little bit faster now. So stay tuned for that. I have a lot coming on about that.
I'm so excited. Oh, can we read the listener letter we got?
Yeah, please. Let's end with the listener letter.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, hi, Jonah and Matt. Hope you both are doing well. I'm writing in as I discovered your wonderful podcast 2 weeks before I was actually supposed to see the Jonas Brothers in concert, which is so crazy. LOL. I wanted to report with a few thoughts. Now, let me start by saying that I saw these young men after seeing the queen that is Beyonce, so my expectations weren't too high. A concert was pretty good, but you could tell the back-to-back nights of the shows took a toll on young Nicholas. And his voice. Putting 5 albums into one night is a large task to do. We know most people, aka me, attend to the show to hear the classics, not the new songs. As someone said in the audience, quote, yeah, I don't care, and I don't even listen to the new albums, LMAO. But they were right. They would perform songs, and as soon as you get into a good groove, song is over. Nick had his hat backwards, and the women went crazy over Frat Boy Nick, when in reality he looked like he was trying way too hard. Joe, to all of my surprise, was giving vocals. Joe also has that I'm newly single, so let me try and be sexy situation going on. Kevin was just there, to be honest. And in all in all, it was cute or whatever, but definitely could have structured it to play old school classics and mainly his last album. I also got the ticket for free and had a reason to take off work. Anywho, love you guys. Love and light, a black girl from Alabama. I am obsessed with the Joe now doing the like, I'm single again, so I'm going to be sexy to this audience. Because that is like a level of chaos that I actually do like to see.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, I love and light to you, listener, for going to the Jonas Brothers concert. Listen, I can't judge. They got
a free ticket.
I saw Miley Cyrus for the Bangers tour. I have no room.
The way
to
we're gonna have to
judge.
do like an entire episode where you just talk about that. Because I would legitimately just listen to that for an hour.
That was such a weird day.
Because you wrote about it at the time, so
yeah. But the thing I wrote it for is like it was like a print column and like a college paper, so you can't find it anywhere.
But you don't have
in like what 2013?
Yeah, and that's been lost to the ether. I'm sure on your end as well.
It's fully been lost to the ether. I have no idea where I'd even look for it. I think it's on probably like a Google account that doesn't exist anymore.
I just love that this listener letter though proved exactly what we talk about, where they have like all this new music they've made that like no one really cares about. Everyone there is
like
kind of
no one's
over
going
it.
to the Jonas Brothers concert to hear Waffle House.
We were talking about that in the group chat, and I was like, I forgot these songs existed.
Yeah, we can't talk about it right now because we're gonna get to it. If we burn out the Waffle House like
of it all.
bits that we have, we will have nothing to talk about at the end.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we got new merch out. Thank you to everybody who has been commenting so much on Twitter and on TikTok and on Instagram. Not TikTok, but Instagram. Someone did say that they have seen us a few comment sections on TikTok about the Joe and Sophie stuff. So thank you.
Come through.
And on Instagram and on Patreon. Just to once again give a shout out to Patreon.
Yes.
And also where everyone who listens to Patreon will hear it. Make sure, guys, I had said I wanted to start reading off the names of our higher tier subscribers on Patreon on the main episodes. So if you're one of those and you really don't want your Patreon username to be said out loud on the show, on our Patreon shows and or our main episodes, please let us know because we will respect that privacy, obviously. We just, are going to start doing that. So I just wanted to give everyone a shout out before. We had said it a while ago that we were going to start. And now that we're kind of moving forward with it, I just wanted to be clear about that. And that's one of the perks you get. And then also, we had some weird issue with our most recent video episode, but it's fixed now. So it's like a one speaker at a time deal. But
girl, we're in the trenches of Zoom's preferences and settings.
Yeah. We're working out the kinks after switching, but I think everyone can tell our episodes sound a lot better now since we switched our studio setups. So I'm very pleased about that. And then, new merch out. Go to eatingforfree.com/merch. And other than that, are
we going to do Camp Rock next week?
Yes, Camp Rock next week.
Yeah.
That's going to be a Patreon exclusive.
Yes.
We also can now say some of our fall and winter Patreon exclusives. So we will be watching from the not Magnolia Network. What's it called? Good American Family.
Great American Family, yes.
Great American Family.
Mm-hmm.
So Great American Family, we will be watching one of their Christmas movies. We were going to decide which. So if you have a preference,
whatever Candace
Cameron let us know.
Is starring in.
Yeah,
I'm sure
mostly we're looking for Candace. Candace is kind of the one that we orbit around the most. And then also for Halloween, we are going to be watching the zombies movies from Disney,
I'm so
the
scared.
Disney zombies movie,
I'm
which is
genuinely so scared.
We've signed ourselves up for it. The patrons are excited about it.
Those movies
can't
better
really back
not
out of
have
it
a long
now.
run time or I'm going to lose my mind.
They're musicals, I believe.
I heard the music kind of goes though.
We're not going to talk about the racism zombie Disney movies. And then also, we're doing in Camp Rock on Patreon as well. So if you want those bonus episodes, they're coming out all throughout the fall. The zombie movies will start the week after Camp Rock, and then we'll probably run 1 week after Halloween if we don't get them done in time. Or the week of Halloween.
I love that they're all a smooth hour and 90 minutes. And also RuPaul is in the third one.
Wait, hour 90 minutes?
Sorry, hour and 30 minutes. A smooth 90 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
And RuPaul plays literally Mother in Zombies.
Great.
I can't
Great.
wait.
No one's calling that the first canonically gay character in Disney, though. Remember when she showed up in the Reno 911 movie?
I was
we were
just
genuinely
thinking
we
about
were
that.
genuinely shaken about that.
That's one of the funniest movies ever made,
also,
honestly.
I just have to say this before we go. Is anyone watching RuPaul's Drag Race UK season 5? Am I the only one? Season 6?
I know one other person watching and they said they put it on in the background while doing other things because it's so bad.
There is a queen
I couldn't
on
even
it.
finish 4. It was so
There
lame.
are some queens on it that is so paint by numbers Aquaria. It's shocking to
I'm
me.
sorry. Love and light to
just-
Aquaria, but everyone
Also-
wants to be an Aquaria these days and it's starting to get scary.
Yeah, the way that
There is
we
other
talk
types
about
of drag. can do.
Yeah, the way that we talk about how like Black American culture via Drag Race has been exported to like the global Drag Race universe, and poorly at that, because you know, like what, like I don't want to watch like white Australians like mimic Black drag queens from the United States in the Snatch Game.
So
you know,
painful.
But this season on UK, the one thing is there is a queen from Atlanta, and she
like actually Atlanta in the UK.
In America. Like she is like a queen from Atlanta, moves to the UK, and she like demolishes everybody. Like it's like a bloodbath. Like
maybe
the
we'll watch
level
just for
she
that.
is operating at versus the level everyone else is operating at. Her name is
love
Caramel. And the level that she's bringing, like what she's bringing to this competition versus her peers in the UK scene, I'm like, I would have gone home. Like it's as if like, just comparatively speaking, it's as if like Sasha Colby walked into the workroom for Drag Race Down Under season 1. Like that like level of like talent difference.
It really is like, you can just leave now. Just give her the win.
Also, I do want to just say,
and then there's that queen that's been edited out, right? The whole time too. So
yeah, and it's very noticeable that she's been edited out. But only because I'm nosy and you notice
can see the
things.
wigs.
But the last thing I was gonna say is, would you guys buy the rumors and the nastiness merch?
Is Meredith gonna like sue us if we make that?
We should try.
Let's try to get sued.
What if we just if we don't spell it in a British accent, then she won't know we're talking about
Wait,
it.
did you watch Drag Race Philippines, by the way? I just finished it last night.
I did, yeah.
Oh my God. That was great. That was very
It was
good.
so
I mean, I have
good.
opinions about
It
it,
was
but
so good.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll save it for
But
bonus.
talk about a Drag Race show that like does what it should do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love Drag Race Philippines. All right, girls.
Are you ready?
Let's sign off. 3.
Okay, also, can I just say?
I was getting started.
Justice for Jade So.
Oh. Absolutely.
Justice.
And Bernie.
Justice.
That's all I have to say.
Justice. I mean, love and light to Cat. Okay. 3,
2,
2, 1. Goodbye. You've been listening to Eating for Free, a podcast created, co-hosted, written, researched, and produced by myself, Joan Summers, and Matthew Lawson, with original theme music by Sam Huntington of Crooks and Nannies. If you liked what you heard today, you can go to patreon.com/eatingforfree to get access to weekly bonus episodes, as well as access to my other podcast, Beautiful Women Updates, hosted by myself and Alex V. Green. You can also go to eatingforfree.com to get access to the links to our research from today's episode, as well as merch and so much more.